Well, the South African government is planning to start the extradition process to have Prophet Shepherd Bushiri and his wife returned to South Africa to stand trial. Now, the couple were both released on bail last week following their court appearance on fraud and money laundering charges totaling 102 million rand. Now, on Saturday, Bushiri and his wife announced that they had skipped the country and were back in their home country of Malawi because they felt the South African government failed to guarantee their safety. Well, Shepherd Bushiri and his wife fled at the same time that the Malawian president, Lazarus Chakwera, was on a working visit to South Africa. There are suspicions that the Bushiris may have escaped with the presidential delegation, but these claims have been rubbished by the Malawian government, including our government here. Well, joining me now is Phumla Williams, and she is the Director of Government Communications. And Ms. Williams, thank you very much for making the time to speak to us. Firstly, South Africans, they want to know whether you have established how Shepherd Bushiri and his wife Mary left this country.
Thank you very much, Coley, and good morning. Coley, you'll remember when the story unfolded, there was a lot of media claiming that Bushiri left via the delegation of the president of Malawi. We have spent some time trying to verify not only the plane of the president of Malawi, but all our ports of entry. We became aware that Mr. Bushiri and the wife had violated the bail conditions of reporting to the police on Friday, because you will remember that the bail conditions were that they should submit their traveling documentation, and secondly, they were to report to the police twice a week. On Friday, when they did not report, we started the process of finding out what happened. So there is no truth that the president of Malawi used the plane to depart with Bushiri. And we have also verified most of our ports of entry. There is no entry of a person called Bushiri and the wife exiting our shores. So that we can confirm to South Africans that the legal process of the delegation of Malawi did not participate in exiting Mr. Bushiri.
Ms. Williams, today we are informed, officially so, by the Malawian government that Shepherd Bushiri holds a diplomatic passport that was given to him by the Malawian government. Did our government know about the existence of a diplomatic passport, and why was it not confiscated from him?
What we have been informed is that all the documentation for traveling were to be submitted, and they have been submitted. What I'm not sure whether those documentations that were submitted were defined as diplomatic, but they did comply to the court order of submitting all their traveling documentation. Whether they are in the form of a diplomatic, I don't have the document with me, but I think it can be confirmed with the police at a later stage today. Maybe what I can do, I can verify that. But the point I'm making is that even if he left, he has not used the legal route of using that passport through our port and exit.
Ms. Williams, and I'm going to ask you to be completely honest with us here. This incident happened on Saturday when Mr. Bushiri announced that he was back at home with his wife in Malawi. You have had ample time to speak to your Department of Home Affairs or even our Justice departments to find out what documentation was confiscated from Mr. Bushiri. How is it that you come to an interview on Monday and you're not sure about whether or not Mr. Bushiri still has the diplomatic passport in his possession?
I'm not sure you want me to, what must I say? I've told you that the process started on Friday. We started investigating. I have been assured that the traveling documents of Mr. Bushiri were submitted. Whether they are general passport or a diplomatic passport. You are asking me now, I can go and verify that whether that particular passport is an ordinary passport or it's a diplomatic passport. And I surely, Bukoli, it's not a crime to say I don't have the specific, but I know that the traveling documents that were submitted to the law enforcement agencies are documents for traveling. I'm being honest to say I will go and verify, and I don't think it is wrong for me to say I am going to go and verify.
All right.
And it was part of whether it's part of checking whether the Bushiri has a passport or not.
Yes.
What we know is that she does have traveling documents, and they were submitted. We will go and we'll find out, and I'm quite happy to even come back to your platform to confirm whether it is a diplomatic passport that was submitted to us. Ms.
Williams, I'm going to take the opportunity then and ask you to confirm what time can you come back to us today to confirm on this channel that the kind of documentation we have belonging to Bushiri, what kind of documents they are. What time can we expect that from you?
I can come back to you even in 30 minutes. If you allow me to log in, I will do that.
Wonderful. Let me move on to this particular question now. You stated in your communique yesterday that we, the South African government, had started the extradition process to try and have Mr. Bushiri have him back to the country. For that to happen, Ms. Williams, you would have had to issue an official communication to the Malawian government. Has that happened?
I've also indicated in our statement that we have started the process of extraditing Bushiri back into the country using the SADC protocol of extradition between the neighboring countries, and that process commenced. One of the requirements, actually, is that we need to obtain the warrant of arrest so that it then forms the basis of applying for the extradition. So that process was started over the weekend, and we will be briefing South Africans where the process is.
Ms.
But
Williams.
yes, I confirm that we have started that process of extraditing Bushiri back into our country.
My simple question to you, I'm going to ask you again, Ms. Williams, and please just listen carefully to my question. It's about whether or not you have started communicating officially with the government of Malawi about the presence of a fugitive that is wanted in this country.
So you start the process with paperwork. You don't start the process by just verbally. I think the Malawian government is correct to say we will start acting once the paperwork is on our table. And I'm saying we have started the paperwork over the weekend, and one of the important requirements in the documentation that is dispatched to Malawi is the warrant of arrest. So once the paperwork has been prepared and it is sent to Malawi, then at that point you can actually say, yes, the documentation is with them. But starting the process, we started it over the weekend.
Ms. Williams, I'm going to ask you to just pause there for a moment, because we're going to play a soundbite of the Malawian government spokesperson talking to us about this very question. Let's have a listen.
We didn't get any brief when Prophet Bushiri was arrested. In fact, as government, we don't have any information as to exactly what happened, why he was taken to court, and so on and so forth. The reports that we have are reports that we're seeing in the media. And, as government, we cannot be responding to media reports. We are a government that believes in procedures, and we can only act on the things that have been put to us formally. So if we had all the information and all the details, certainly we would have acted. Right now, what we're waiting for the South African government, if at all they will get in touch with us. But we have heard that they have started some procedures, some processes to approach the government of Malawi, and once that happens, certainly we'll have to take up our position.
Ms. Williams, I'm not sure if you could hear that clearly, but I can tell you that the Malawian spokesperson, simply put, is saying that they have not received any formal communication from you yet. So South Africans listening to that soundbite right now are not convinced by you. Instead, if anything, you are scrambling to show us that you are doing something about this matter. When is this communication going to reach the Malawian authorities?
Coley, I'm not sure whether there's any disagreement between what I told you and what the gentleman from Malawi said. They can only act once the paperwork is on their desk. We are saying we've started the process over the weekend to get the courts to finalize our papers. You are not expecting the Malawian government to act on the basis of the news. They have to act on the basis of the documentation that will be put through them. And I've said that one of the important documents that should form the basis is the warrant of arrest. And that process is underway. And once all that documentation, then you can go back to the Malawian and then ask how far are they in responding. But she's not saying anything that is different from what I'm saying. We have started the process, and once the process is concluded, yes, we will follow the normal SADC protocol to submit the documentation to the, and I think I heard one of the journalists saying that when is the email going to be sent? There is a approved protocol that will be followed by the Department of Justice to the Malawian government, and yes, we will afford them the opportunity to engage with our documentation, and at this point we have no reason to doubt why they would not want to look at our documentation favorably, because this man is a fugitive and he has to come to South Africa and face the full might of the law.
Williams, there are suggestions from our government officials that an Interpol red alert on Bushiri and his wife has been activated. Are you able to confirm same?
I'm only able to confirm our statement. I'm not able to confirm anything outside of what we have written. So I think I would rather leave it at the statement that we have issued.
Are you aware if Malawi is a signatory to Interpol protocols?
Well, actually, can I confirm what is in my statement? We have started the process of the extradition using the SADC protocol on extradition. Beyond that, I am not able at this point engage with what you are saying.
Let's talk about the SADC protocols then that you speak about. Those are the same protocols that Shepherd Bushiri has invoked via his address on Saturday, saying that he's going to use the same SADC protocols to ensure that his safety, among other demands that he makes if he is to return to South Africa, are protected. Is South Africa going to abide by what he is demanding?
Tony, can I say that this man has broken the law in this country? She has left illegally in this country. And I don't think it is his space to put in demands on the South African government. We have afforded him a process in court to go and clear his name. She has been granted bail, of which he has actually abused. The courts have afforded him a bail and conditions. She has violated those conditions, and she cannot then ask the South African government to interact with him via the platform that he chooses. She must come back to South Africa and face the full might of the law. She has broken the laws of this country, and she must come back and deal with that. We have no reason to abuse Mr. Bushiri. Mr. Bushiri is going to have to deal with clearing his name through the established court processes that exist in this country.
Yeah. Ms. Williams, finally and very briefly, if you can, the Malawian president who was here last week, there seems to have been a disagreement of sorts at the Waterkloof Air Force Base. And based on that, I'm going to ask how sound our diplomatic relations are with Malawi and whether you would expect cooperation, full cooperation with the Malawian government given that particular incident.
I don't think it was an acrimonious disagreement. What they thought they wanted to do, because you will remember when the advance team came to prepare for the arrival of their president, they came through the OR Tambo Airport.
Yeah.
But I think their plan was that when they go back, they will go back with one flight. So I think they were not being malicious, but they thought that they would use one exit point. And unfortunately, they have had to be told that our immigration systems don't work like that. So where they landed, they have to use that. That is the reason why their flight has had to go via the OR to go and pick them up, because initially they thought that they will go back in one flight. So the only route arrangement that was made was that you can go and land in OR and pick them up, but we would not allow them to exit in a different port of entry. So that was the disagreement. But I don't think it was a disagreement where it could be acrimonious. We still believe in the good relationship we have with the government of Malawi, and we think that they will look at our request favorably.
All right, Ms. Williams, I thank you very much for your time and look forward to that confirmation on the documentation that is in our government's possession. Thanks indeed for your time. Phumla Williams is our government's head of communication.